Good morning. Welcome to day number 15 of the Aquarian Shift Activation Meditations. Today is about awakening the inner hearing. And we're going to try to keep this to 30 minutes. And it might actually work out well that way because for myself, when I tap into the wisdom, the sacredness, the mystery of the inner hearing, I know that I have so much to learn about it. You know, in the divine name associated with the awakening the inner hearing is a Sami. And the sacred sound codes of Sami. You know, we had Samad, which is, was the sound waves in the fluid existence that were filling all of the gaps with that divine life energy, filling everything and leaving nothing unsupported with that divine life energy. So that was like really embedding ourselves into the conscious of the eternal, right? Of the pre-eternity, beyond the time and space construct, but into the realm of the pre-eternity that goes beyond that. That was Samad. This is Sami. And the E is that reflecting the source, right? And so the Sami is the sound waves in the fluid existence reflecting the source, and all of these divine attributes, the healing and the transformation and everything, and like what is helping us to awaken the divine life force energy that has all of the knowing, the inner knowing within it, is using these sacred sound codes and their vibrations to awaken all of the knowledge that was breathed into us when our spirits were breathed into these bodies. That breath is what gives consciousness and life force to the physical. And that breath contains the knowledge of all of the sacred sound codes. And the sacred sound codes, again, they're sound waves that have different wavelength and different frequency. And we hear them because our ears are just like our eyes are only able to perceive a certain range, but the waves are much more variant than what we're able to perceive through our human senses. Same is true for the ears. Same is true for the ears. And in the teachings of the divine names, my two favorite books are Rosina Fauzia Al-Rawi's book, Divine Names, 99 Healing Names of the One Love, and Neil Douglas Klotz's book, The Sufi Book of Life, 99 Pathways of the Heart for the Modern Dervish, I think is the tagline of his book. And so both of them they speak of the sound waves as being like every sound is like the unity of the ocean within its drop. And the poet Rumi says, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the ocean in a drop. So every sound wave or every sound contains the knowledge of the entire creation, of the unity within the entire creation, within its every drop. And they both also speak of how sound connects us to everything in creation that has come before us, and to our own inner knowledge and connection with unity, as well as everything that comes after us. So it's like, when I read that as in its context in both of those books, I just think, wow, so much more to discover and uncover about the sacredness, about how sound can unify us. And we know that sound transforms us. That's the healing magic of, there's the Sufi healing in the Sufi language, or, using the the Arabic language, the sacred languages, Arabic, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Sanskrit. And, I know there are other sacred languages, but there are sacred languages when we use them in learning about spirituality and in connecting to the essence and the presence of the divine, connecting us to the unity in all things, and healing our bodies, healing our hearts, healing our minds, healing our souls. Sound is so powerful for all of that. So my invitation to you for today is, there's just on the human ego level of sound, when we hear things, sound can be one of those things that, oh yeah, heard that before. It ties us really quickly to our memories. I put in the email that the ear bone connected to the heart bone, because if somebody has told you something that is painful and that is, has hurtful, or that you'll never amount to this, or you'll never be that, or whatever, those things, that's like they go through the ears and bypass the brain and go straight to the heart, and it hurts. And then it's like, we spend our lives either living behind that, altering our course because we've taken on some belief about it, or trying to overcome it and break through that barrier. So the things that we've heard that people have told us about ourselves can have a really strong impact on who we believe that we are or can be. So we want to wash those. We want to cleanse that, because that can also affect how you perceive what you hear others say in the future. Even if they don't mean them to go through that lens, you've got that lens there. And so that they kind of get filtered in that way. And, I know someone who comes to mind who I witness her hearing things in that way a lot. She'll tell me about so-and-so said this, and can you believe? And I'm like, yeah, I heard it and I didn't hear it that way, but I understand that in you heard it that way. And I also recognize it went through a filter in order for you to perceive that. So, we all have those filters, right? There are protective mechanisms that are going to keep us from getting hurt again. So we want to wash and cleanse those and bring healing to those places, and then really help us to open to the mystery of the unity within sound and the ability to connect with the divine presence and the divine essence. It's like the waves of creation through the fluid existence, reflecting the source of creation. And so much opportunity there. So let's go ahead and come into our meditation and healing circle. Let's come into our circle, sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your vibration of your pure divine light. And let's invite that light. Invite that light to stream right into your ears, right? And just like your eyes, your ears have their mechanisms that draw that sound in. And when the sound comes in and it goes through all the components of the ear, and it is directed to the eardrum, and then it is converted from wave into electrical impulses, and it travels to the brain. And the brain interprets, right? I think it goes straight to the heart, but that's what they say. So we want to clear those pathways, and we want to clear out what any old energies that have been lodged into those pathways that keep us from hearing clearly of what is being transmitted in the now. So let that light first, the light travel through, and the light has that purifying effect. And just intend that that light travel through and purify and reset the pathway of your ears and your pathways of hearing, your neurological pathways, all the way into your brain and central nervous system. And let that light come through, cleanse and purify. And let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your vibration of the unconditional love. And let this unconditional love go right along behind that purification and infuse all of that pathway with love. Infuse that entire pathway with love. And let that love travel through those pathways. Let it travel through that pathways and reset everything that has ever been heard through that pathways, every sound wave that has ever bounced off of that pathway, and the physical structure of that pathway and the neurological structure of that pathway. Let that unconditional love come right along behind that cleansing light and purifying light and infuse all of that space with love. Infuse all of it with love. Unconditional love. And now let's tune into the ocean of eternal compassion. Right? Because this sound travels, waves travel through this ocean, right? And we are, remember, we are the cups floating in the ocean of living consciousness. So let yourself be the cup floating in the ocean of living consciousness, and let the pathway of your hearing, the pathway of your heart, and all of your entire being be the living consciousness within the cup. And just perhaps make an intention to become aware, tune into the wave-like motion within the ocean. Become aware of the wave-like motion. And let your entire being, your cup of ocean in your drop, float and rest into this ocean. Kind of like flowing with those waves, the sound waves, right? Everything. And when you think about it, every vibration has sound. And everything is energy, right? Everything is energy, and every energy is always in motion, right? It's always moving, and movement creates waves that make sound. Some sounds we can perceive with our ears and some not. That's why it can be very healing to just be out in nature and listen to the sounds. Listen to the sounds of the wind, the sounds of the trees, the sounds of the creeks, the sounds of the insects, the sounds of the birds, the sounds of sunlight, the sounds of, the mobile and what appears to be immobile. But just be with the energy of nature and tune your ears to listen to the sound. And it's like our rhythms as human creatures of this modern world, our rhythms have gotten really out of sync with nature. And if you allow yourself to just float on that cosmic ocean and let the waves and the rhythm from within your ocean, your drop of ocean within your cup, to float in the ocean and begin to harmonize and resonate with the ocean, can help to reset your internal rhythms and just tune into your hearing to hear and receive the waves. Receive the waves and harmonize, allow your being to harmonize with the waves of nature. And want to call on Wajid first. Wajid, which is that all-existing, Wajid, the all-existing, which tuned us in, if you remember, it awakened us, that extra sensory, and tuned it in and integrated with the world of the pre-eternity and the world of this time and space realm, right? It's tuning into the knowing of the all-existing, of the seen and unseen, the manifest and the hidden, the world of the time and space, and the realm of the pre-eternity. So bringing that knowledge, all-encompassing knowledge of the all-existing, of everything that exists, into the structure of your being, reflecting the divine life energy within you. Okay, so the all-encompassing, the structure of your being, reflecting the divine life energy. So the all-encompassing existence, knowledge of it within your structure, reflecting the divine life energy. So this is tapping you into your own inner knowledge of the all existing in all of the realms. So this is this is like really helpful in integrating, right? So we don't get like, and I'll say this from my past experience. So attuned to the subtle that we miss the non-subtle, the physical, the manifest, right? But we have a balance of them and it's integrated. There have been times in my life where I got so far into the subtle that I could not distinguish the awareness of the physical. It lasted for just a little bit of time, but we really want the balance. We want the embodied, integrated balance. So Wajid, the all existing. And now let's call on Sami. That is the sound waves. The S sound is the sound waves. And let me spell it. It's S-A-M as in Mary, I, and then the ein glottal stop at the end. Sami. So this Sam is the waves in the fluid existence, and then the E, it's the reflecting the source of sound itself. Like every wave of motion in the ocean that creates and generates sound, whether it's audible to our physical ears or not, originates from the source of all sound. And some believe, well, and then how can you not, that the original emanation from, there was the nothingness, and then there is the one solo God consciousness, and from that all of creation emanates and flows. And everything that flows is energy and has wavelength and frequency. And so therefore it has sound and it has sight. And everything in its wavelength and frequency takes us back to the original source, the one source. So, Sam E. Let's play with those sound codes and direct this into your ear, into your ears, and you could even, if you want, if you have something, you could put something over your eyes or close your eyes so that your eyes kind of like, shut out that stimulus and bring all of your focus just into your auditory pathways and listen. Just listen. Even if it's nothing, listen and allow the sound to awaken even more and more of your subtle perception. The sound or the lack of sound, awaken more and more of your subtle perception. So I'm going to try to give a full 2-3 minutes of not making any noise. I'll even mute myself and watch the clock. And I'm going to allow you to play with the sound code of the wave, the fluid existence, the the waves filling the fluid existence, and the E reflecting the source of sound. Just something that you might want to try. You're making that sun that creates a really nice hum sound that you can feel the vibration in your mouth and around your mouth. Let that vibration of the fluid existence, let it really feel the vibration through your cheeks and back to your ears. And you can use your tongue, like pointing your tongue toward your ear as you make the hum sound, and then toward the other ear, and really feel that vibration getting into your ear, your auditory pathway there. And on the other side. You can put it up to the roof of your mouth and feel it fill your head space with that vibration. And back toward your throat as well. So play with that. There's in continuum, we do a thing called a hum clock, where we take the tongue and we go all the way around, outside between the teeth and the lips, all the way around, just stopping at each number on the clock. and humming and feeling, letting that vibration fill the face, and the head. But point it toward your ears, top of your mouth, back toward your throat, bottom of your mouth, and play with that. I'm going to be quiet for another 2 minutes. I want to invite you also, as you put your tongue with that vibration down toward your bottom of your mouth and your throat, is feel that vibration come and connect with your heart space. Because another thing I want to say about hearing is that in every, we speak when we speak from our hearts. We don't always speak from our hearts. Sometimes we speak from our pain, from our wounds, from our mental space, from, but if we listen, same with not stopping with the outside pictures, if we listen with the ear of the heart, just like we see through the eye of the heart, and we listen through the ear of the heart, and not stop with the outside, but go behind and behind and behind and behind. If someone is speaking to us through their own filters or their own protective devices or their own blocks and barriers or their own wounds, if we listen with the ear of the heart, we can listen for what is behind and behind and behind their blocks and barriers and their protections, behind their pain, behind their wounds, and to the truth of what they seek through their speaking. And that truth is always a yearning to reconnect with their own inner connection and their own inner knowing of source, right? And that's true for all of us. So bring in the ear of the heart, to awaken the ear of the heart, to hear through the ears of source. Remember the prayer from yesterday. Help me to see through your eyes, to hear through your ears, and to understand with your heart of love and compassion. So take another minute with resonating that vibration from your head space into your heart space. Be quiet for a minute. And just thought of something funny. Should I share it with you? You know how we were doing the hand position with the fingertips together and the thumbs touching into the heart? And it just made me think of that antenna for the ears going with the thumbs in the ears and that little thing we did as kids, right? Na, na, na. Oh, let your entire body be an antenna, receiving the divine waves as they travel through the ocean into the core of your being, the drop of ocean within your existence that contains the entirety of the ocean. So let's take an inhale. Inhale all of your energy all the way in to your vertical core, all the way into the very center of your body, halfway side to side, halfway front to back, all the way into the very center along the vertical core, from the head all the way along the front of your spine and through your base. And as you exhale, let yourself drop down and land into that pelvic bowl. Remember the nun, which is manifest, right? That shape like a little bit of a closed up cup with the dot in the center. And let yourself land into that center of your pelvic bowl, into your center of gravity there, into that power point of your own being, that your I am center, your place of manifestation. Kun fayakun, be and it is. Be and it is. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.